Right. If we're lucky, we should be live right now. Let me just give it a quick peek. Okay, let me see. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Unresolved Crimes. I'm your host, Frank, and today, not only a special guest, but also my co-host, Heather. Say hi.
Hey everybody!
So, today we're doing a second episode about your mother.
Correct.
I assume that is correct. So, if it wasn't correct, then we're doing something wrong there, Heather. So. Well, you obviously the reason why we are doing this podcast for the second part is that you sent me at least a lot of information that I've delved into, and also well, with contacting you, we did a lot of phone calls for public information access and that sort of stuff.
Correct.
And we both agree that a few things are weird about this case, right?
Definitely.
Could you explain like one of the reasons why you think it's strange?
Um, just the main thing that strikes me as strange with this case is how unwilling anybody is to talk about it. Like when we call Reno, when we call anybody, and it just
Now,
you get a different phone number you've got to call, and then you call that number, and like, oh, well, you need this number. So it's just like sending you around and around and around.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, in Dutch language, we have like a perfect word for that, but I'm not that smart. I cannot translate it like that. But yeah, I totally get that. You get like one phone call, and then you get sent to another one, and basically you end up with nothing. So,
Yeah, every time.
So just for the listeners, I'm gonna quickly explain what happened and why we think this case is like beyond strange, and that's why we're mainly doing a part two about it. Is that we did a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information request, and it got satisfied, so the appeal got accepted, and we know for a fact that there should be information for Heather missing mother or Terri Ann Fourcher, but there's none. We waited a week until we did like when did we do the last podcast? Yesterday, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, did we do it? Yeah.
yeah. So I told Heather, you know what, we're actually gonna wait a bit until we do like any sort of continuation with your mother's case and actually wait it out. Wait for your request and it got satisfied, so we all got like really happy in order to get like some information. But we knew for a fact that there should be information about her mother, but there's like none. And the strange thing is, at least for our listeners, see, you sent me a lot of documents that your mother actually left it at the hotel, right? So we have physical evidence that there should be things in her appeal, right?
Right.
But there was like literally none, zero. And I don't know if that's the case right now, and I still think it is. Otherwise, you would have told me. But there's like zero information. It's like almost this person did not exist, and that's curious though, because Heather did send me documents that has been written by her mother, and there are some really curious things about it. We can go either way though. There are different scenarios that we can sketch. So we have the scenario that Lauren from the Speed Freakway Killer. Do I say that correct? Not entirely sure, but he is one of the persons that was in 1996. He was one of the Speed Freakway. I just can't say that name. It's just
Oh.
way too English for me.
The speed freak killers.
Speed freak killers. There we go. So these guys were a bunch of drug-induced guys that just killed for the joy of it because they were high and on all sorts of drugs, and that's the main reason that they killed people. So these were two friends of each other that actually committed these murders, and one of them called Lauren. Lauren, what's his name?
Lauren Herzog.
Herzog. And we were not entirely sure about this though, so keep that in mind. But one of these names is involved with Terry Ann or Heather's biological mother in the documents that we have. So that could kind of sketch a dark scenario that something terrible happened, but believe me, we have multiple scenarios. We have a court appearance that was on the 23 or 28th. I think it was 23 of July or.
There's a few court dates that she had around that time.
No, but the last one that you sent us, that was like 7/23,
Right.
69, right?
Yeah, she got a bench warrant for not showing up to court for that.
Uh-huh. And fair enough, it was for narcotics, and that's not entirely the point. But we're trying to get like a timeline on where stuff actually happened, and we do have a lot of information that is really, really interesting. So first of all, Heather, I do thank you for that because it's really interesting that there might be multiple scenarios that your mother actually might be still alive, and
Yeah.
well, that is assuming it's a good thing, obviously. So in the last part, your brother Travis was there as well,
Right.
and unfortunately, he's not here.
Not at the moment.
He might be on later, in fact, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But in a certain aspect, like the documents that you send us, like for example, your grandmother, could you give like a little clearance on like how the family situation was because your mother was adopted?
Yes. So, my mother was born in 1967, and she was born to a woman named Kathy. But at that time in age, it was pretty common if you had a child outside of marriage that the family would keep the kid in the family, but they would raise her as her mother's sister instead of her mother. So my mother grew up until she was like 13 or 14 before she found out that her mother, they've been calling her sister the whole time.
Yeah.
And so at 13 or 14, my grandparents adopted her. So they're not even technically my biological grandparents, but on paper, they're my biological grandparent. So yeah, she was adopted and then I was adopted. So we got like 2 generations of adoption there.
Exactly. Well, first of all, thank you. There's also in the first episode that we made, though, but just to get a clearance that what we are talking about and the main reason we are having a part 2 is because we have, I do not want to say like a plot twist because it's kind of condescending, but it kind of is, right? I mean, we do have like a lot of information that is really interesting in this case.
Yes.
So, like I said before, Heather already sent us a bunch of documents that we actually delved into and did some research to. And the interesting thing is that, first off, we do not only cover cold cases or unresolved crimes, for example, but we also try to research them. We also try to do like partially a thing to solve cases. And we have a little team for that. And Well, at this point, we didn't. Well, we kind of went into a secrecy mode, and we didn't like release any of this to the public or whatever. And that's kind of unnecessarily though, because we didn't know how much relevance it was, this information. But it turned out to be pretty relevant, didn't it, Heather?
Definitely.
So what we did is when her mother went missing from the hotel, she left alongside her personal belongings, and thus including a lot of documents. And I swear to God, I saw them all, and there are like loads and loads of documents that are written by handwriting that were documented by Heather, her mom. And that's actually a really good thing because you can get like a lot of information out of that.
Yep.
And also, your grandmother did some detective work herself, didn't she?
Oh yeah, she's spent the last 20 plus years doing her research on this and trying to find out what happened. So I now have all of my grandmother's emails, everything she wrote down from talking to the different detectives. When she talked to the state senator, I have all of her notes. Like she passed them down to me and Travis.
Then you can say something for that. Also, if she was adopted, then you could leave that adoption like away because it doesn't really feel like they considered your mom as a real daughter, and that's really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
But although we will come to that in a second. So in first instance, when I met Heather, she told me about her mom, and I kind of wanted to give her like a podium, and she said, "You know what? I actually want to be co-host." So that's pretty amazing. So, oh, here we are. And first of all, I do really respect you for that, though, because I can assume that if you are working these cases, you always have like a thought of mind about, well, about your mom. That's kind of like comparing pears to peanuts, for example. So so no. Well, first of all, I do really respect that, and I think it's really neat when you cover these cases that are, well, other sides than your mother, for example, that it takes some sort of guts. So I do really thank you for that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. So, all right, let's delve in.
All right.
So oh, I'm trying not to break anything here, but so we have a lot of documents, as we said, and we do have a lot of phone numbers. We try to call like literally at least all the phone numbers that were available. And well, the thing is though that we try to do this in an effort more to get more information about the background where Terry Ann might have been going. And in fact, we did not get that from the phone numbers, but I guess more from your grandmother's email. So kudos to your grandmother.
Yes.
I was honestly, that woman is really brilliant.
Oh yes, I honestly have so much still to learn from her. She's an amazing, strong woman, and I am so thankful to have her in my life. Even through the adoptions and everything, I was still able to have contact with my biological grandmother.
No, but we tried to call all the numbers, although we got a few people on the line, but the number probably were disconnected and then given away to somebody else because that happens a lot of time. And that kind of influences the kind of point that you want to investigate because if you are at a certain point that, for example, that somebody is on top, they're on top for a reason, or the first person they actually thought of, and if you go down the list and people you call might have actually the same name as we witnessed yesterday. Do you remember that when I killed that? When I called that Doug guy, and you went like, "Yeah, I'm Doug, but I'm not the Doug you're looking for." I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Right, right.
But that's fair though. I mean, that still piques somebody their interest. But if people do not want to tell like their story, it makes you wonder.
Right.
And well, let's start off with let's stop dilly dallying, I guess, and actually start with why wanted to make a part two. So when I met Heather the first time, she was actually saying us that one of the speed freak killers. So that Lauren guy, she had his number,
Yep.
and when Heather actually showed me these documents, it was true. So no, 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 like I do not want to scrutinize you or anything, but when you see it, it's otherwise when somebody says it to you. So this guy also committed suicide in 2012. And there is a certain thing that you sent me yesterday that really piqued my interest, and that's about a Judge Stone, I think his name was.
Yep.
And this Judge Stone, his name is Jim Stone or James Stone. And if you Google that, then you come across that he's a pretty interesting guy. If you Google him, if you Google him, then it says that he was in 1996. He was disinvolved from the bar to not practice any law whatsoever because there were 5 people or 5 victims that were complaining about him because of malpractice. So that see, I do understand that if somebody has a number from a serial killer that you kind of go like the dark way like immediately. I do understand that, but I always like to go like the other way because we roll that way. and, and I honestly, well, see, that's the thing that's bothering me, though. See, if you Google, for example, street freak killers, they are assumingly having to do something with 65 murders. Only they got caught for 4. So it's an assumption, so it does not mean in any other way. So I do not like the assumptions, even though I make them myself. But I always go like the other way around. I try to look at other people as well. You guys should learn something from that. No, it's always good to think outside the box. And I know I'm not always right, and I know I'm not always wrong, especially the wrong part. Not kidding. But it's always good to deduct like for another way, because even if a situation is impossible, the probable way or the probable answer might be impossible. That's how you apparently solve cases according to Sherlock Holmes. So let's learn from him, obviously. But anyways, if you like I said, you did send documents, and I googled that Dr. Stone, and he did malpractice in '69, and your mother. It also was dates 10 September, right? So here's the weird thing. Heather sent me those documents, and it's kind of curious because a week after her first court appearance, she actually went missing. That's after. That's not before. She did not show up at her first court appearance, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm saying this right though, Heather. So correct me if I'm wrong. But let me see. The month of 7/23, I think. The court date was due, and then at 1/8, she went missing, or got reported missing, from what we know.
The thing that's amazing is during this time, which I cannot relocate the information that I found on it about 5 years ago, but she got arrested in a stolen vehicle with 40 kilos of cocaine. This all happened within that couple of weeks of all her court dates, her not showing up, and her disappearing. And she was arrested with an African American male around the same age as her, and I cannot remember his name for the life of me. But that's in my notes. I have to look through my notes.
But it was a male.
Yes.
So, so let me just clear this up. Terri Ann was for the last seen at a hotel. I think it was a Hilton Hotel back then. It's now called a Golden Phoenix, but that's what the website says. But it's now called something else. Because remember, we actually called that a hotel, right?
We did.
And that person from he worked there from '98, I think, and he was gonna call from Oregon. That was gonna call you back, but I don't think you ever got called back for that.
Nope. I haven't gotten any calls back from the calls we've made.
See, but that's the thing, though. I find those things interesting, and I do know it's really messed up. But yeah, I'm a messed up person once. Anyways, but there are only 13 people missing in Reno, Nevada, and this is one of them. So for the listeners, that's like winning the lottery. But done in like a really negative way. I didn't really know how to explain it, but that's, for example, if you have like a serial killer in a population of only a small village of 3,000. And there are a lot. You know what first bothered me though, Heather?
What?
When researching your mom's case, I did notice that a lot of facial features that your mom had, also other women had on that missing page.
Yeah, you're not wrong. They all kind of fit the same profile-ish, essentially.
Mm-hmm. But due to your mother's administration, and that is really good, by the way, because you can get like a shitload of information because of that. What do you think the worst case scenario is? Because I do not want to fill it in, but
Worst case scenario is that she is dead in a ditch somewhere. However, best case scenario is that, she's witness protection, living her best life.
yeah. Because that's a thing that we actually try to research as well, and I do. After first episode that we did, Travis and Heather sent us some pictures that are just scary. It's not scary like in a negative sense, but it's more a positive way. But this person that they think is their mother has like a scary comparison on how she looks. And I do want to show her, but I cannot do it until it's not proven, because I do not want to have like any other person on here that is not like identified like as her. Because it might be the other way around, and then we could be wrong, obviously. So we are trying here to assess certain scenarios to come to the truth.
Yeah.
And what does your grandmother think what happened?
It's actually honestly been hard to get a straight answer out of her what she think has happened. She hasn't really expressed any conclusions that she's come to for this, but I just I believe it's that way because she's keeping the option open that my mother will return home. So she doesn't want to think any other way other than she will come home. So yeah.
No, I totally do get that. Because she was so loving, and she didn't get adopted for like unobvious reasons, of course. So when you adopt somebody, there's yeah, certain love involved. I do get that,
Hmm.
and you never give up on somebody who's missing. How hard the truth may be, you never give up.
Right.
And I do really respect your grandparents for that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, recalling to this judge that we were talking about, this Judge Stone, do you have like any, you know, obviously the case better than me, but is there like any logical reason why she would contact this person?
Um, well, it kind of goes along with the other court papers that I had found, where she's asking the court for a little bit of money because she has to lay low for a couple of weeks because she
Uh-huh.
helped the narcotics team with a bust. So I think she was in contact with, probably a couple of judges helping work some cases or something along those lines. Because there is a tiny little paper trail that shows that evidence to me. So that's really all I know at this point.
No, but that's always the case though. But since you have like the documents to actually prove that, and since the strange things that we are actually witnessing right now, because of like I said, we did a FOIA request, and we keep getting sent from department to department, and I wish I had those recordings because that woman from public departments really got scared of me because I got kind of pissed off that we didn't have any information, although our application got accepted, and we didn't get like jack shit. We didn't get like anything, did we? And that's really frustrating,
Not
actually.
even, not even, not even her jaywalking ticket that she went to court for in Reno, Nevada. That didn't even show up on the FOIA request. And that's just something as simple as jaywalking, which I have the carbon copy of it. I know she got in trouble for it, went to jail, and went to court for it. So how is it that nothing is showing up in the FOIA request?
Exactly, but like I said, we did do that call, and assumingly that, yeah, I'm just really baffled just for the fact that FOIA request is a Freedom of Information Act that you should get like public access to every single document that there has been. But apparently, if you want that, you need to go get information. Although you got that request from the right address, you need to go, for example, to the what was it, Washoe Sheriff's Department, and then go to the public records department, and we did that, and they sent us like a whole different way. They literally said, yeah, there's a skeleton crew on Friday, you cannot call. Okay, so I was like, man, listen up. I was all like all gangster up in their face, so so I was like, man, without any disrespect, we were waiting for a week after our application got well, satisfied. And I'm not sure what that exactly means. It still means that it's still in progress, I assume, even though after a week and we got like all the documents. So we kind of have a backup that requires us to ask questions that, if there are not legal documents in that case, and they say that it does not have any legal documents, then we know that something fishy is going on because we do have the carbon copies of that. And the copies should be in that file, right?
It should be.
And therefore, we kind of have or questions. For example, a corrupt judge.
Being amongst the corrupt county sheriff at the time.
Exactly. But see, you send documents about your not about your grandparents, but your grandparents, their research, And there was even a headline in there that the senator at that point wanted to reopen the sealed case of a bunch of serial killers. I mean, why would I'm just not getting that. Why would a sealed case be sealed because of two dudes who were on a frenzy because they were high? Why were those documents sealed? Why they're like a lot? They allegedly killed 75 people.
Right.
Why is there no any documentation because of that? Who made this assumption? No, but get the gist of it? No, I do not honestly get that. But that's with a lot of cases so. They got sealed. For what reason? They allegedly killed, so and so much people. Well, prove it. You cannot just say that somebody killed that many people because it kind of gives other people false hope.
Yeah, and that's no joke. And honestly, when they did the dig on the property of Wesley Shermantine, like they were supposed to go in with like toothbrushes and tiny little brushes and collect evidence. They went in with a backhoe and commingled all the evidence there was. So all of it was destroyed. They had found at least 12 different people's DNA. There was no body, there was nothing. They just had the DNA. They messed up.
According to Wesley, he made a map on the bodies that, right?
Yeah.
So, for the listeners, we are trying to contact Wesley Shermantine through, or at least I am gonna contact him though. Through where is he at? St. Quinn Prison, right?
San Quentin State Penitentiary, currently sitting on death row.
Yeah, he's on death row for multiple
No
counts of
death
murder and a murder on murder with conspiracy, I think, or how do you call that with two people? Oh, see, I did my homework at least, but. We are actually gonna contact Wesley in the hopes that he will at least call us back, and we will record the whole situation as well because if there is like any information that we have at this point, it's kind of in his hands. If he says, "Yo, you know what? We do not have anything on him," then we need to research in a whole different direction. But there is a certain direction that we can actually, let me tell that differently. I do have a feeling that since your mother documented so well, that we do have information on her whereabouts. And especially about your grandmother, she did amazing research, and there was a person that she met, and I'm not sure if the timeline is correct, but his name was Shaggy, right?
Yeah, Shaggy is a mutually known associate of my mother and my father. Like my dad knows who Shaggy is, and I don't know who it is though. But I have a feeling that he was a drug dealer of some sort.
Well, that could be, but it could be still of relevant information though. But we will come that part once we get like enough information, and we still have like a lot of documents to actually go through.
Yes.
But like I said, it's really coincidental that also. Just in this case, just in general, you have like different scenarios you can go to. And I know the judge scenario that we do know for a fact that he's corrupt. We do know that because in '69 he actually got sued for malpractice, so he cannot like go anywhere. So who knows that this man had somewhat of a conscious issue that he kind of screwed up, like after doing some sick shit. And we're don't get me wrong. Although we are true crime freaks, I surely do not think that we need to be right all the time. But if there's a certain amount of information, you kind of go the logical path, I guess. And there, and 69, I mean 96, is a long way ago, and it's really hard to research those kind of cases. But there's a certain point that your mother did that great of documentation that we can actually have like real good information about that. Because your mother had private numbers, names, and although those names had like aliases like Chocolate, Cindy, Blondie, you kind of know the road that we are heading, for example. And if somebody's named Big Papa, for example, you know it's a pimp. But then again, it's an assumption. Although we do not like that, fuck you guys, I'm still doing that. But no, but you kind of know, like, when somebody is known as Big Papa, I always go like, yeah, I do not. I'm just gonna go that road. That it kind of feels like it's this guy looking like 50 Cent with bling bling on his. It sounds really stupid, but I honestly mean it. I really think that. No, it's not like to sound racial or racist or whatever, but it does sound like yeah, some black guy with a lot of bling bling and with like a pimp cup.
More likely than not is, honestly. So
No, but that's kind of that time period, though, I guess. But yeah, I honestly do not know. I think it's really strange, especially with the corrupt cop. And I'm intending, in fact, to contact his family as well because he had a storage box the same as your mom, and his family went back in 2020, and they want all of his belongings, and that's kind of obvious, though. But apparently, even though this guy wasn't a 40 figure, his family did not feel the yeah, longings to have like anything of him. So I'm curious why though. Was this guy really a dick? According to the victim statements, that according to his clients, because this was not a normal judge though. He was I think a general attorney, whatever that in law enforcement might mean, but apparently somebody with status.
yeah.
So, but that is bothering me though. That, like I said, I'm a dick in analytics. So, if somebody gets missing, the same with the podcast that we made yesterday about Theo Hayes, it just mind fucks me, and I'm just saying it out loud. And if people hate me for it, yeah, then so be it. And you need to be critical at some point. You need to go like outside the box and inside the box, and then go outside again. And if you're wrong, then you're wrong. So I kind of want to accept that if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. That's fair enough. But you need to ask critical questions about things because not everybody. People are human. People always make mistakes. But in order to make mistakes, you need to have like some sort of theory or hypothesis that something that could happen. Otherwise, you're never getting along with like for research for and like this one. So there are like I said, there are multiple scenarios for Terri Ann that actually happened. It might be that she was victim. It might be that she was victim to the speed freak killers. That could be a possibility. And if she had learned his phone number, which she didn't, it does not necessarily mean that she needs to be a victim. It could be. But we do not know that. We need to research that. That's the whole point of like the investigation part of it. But if there's also like a freaky deaky judge that does shit outside the law and he's corrupt, then who knows that this guy was actually that well, that sort of outside the law, that he did some crazy shit that was outside his well, I'm guess what I'm saying, it would not be the first time that somebody actually killed somebody because he had like a law enforcement position. It's always about power, isn't it? And then that's what 9 out of 10 serial killers, it's the same way. It's always about power. And if you have a higher state, I mean, let's be honest, if you have all the money out of the world, what do you want? You don't want that money anymore, you want power.
Yeah.
I'm really going political on this. What's wrong with me? But no, see that's the thing though. I do really understand that we need to go all serious on this, and I'm really doing my best. But I'm knowing Heather for a while, so it's kind of like all jokes aside. And even though that this is a cold case, they do really want their mother to come back home. So that's, I think, and that's the keynote in this. Well, in these podcasts, actually wanting her to come back home. I think that's really important.
Yep. You know, not even necessarily to come home. Like, if she is in witness protection or something like that, you know, I just want to be able to give my grandparents, who have spent a better part of the last 25 years trying to find answers. I just want to get them those answers before the dementia really takes my grandfather over. Yeah.
No, I honestly do get that. But I always ask the question though, Heather, and it sounds like really dark and really. But what if she doesn't?
Isn't what?
Yeah, this is really a deep scenario, but I think it's fair to ask that. What if she doesn't come back?
Well, then it is what it is, you know.
But you always you always would have that question in your head, and I do get that.
Yeah, and I'm the type of person that questions everything, like I've mentioned in our previous podcasts. Like, to leave such an unanswered question in my life is going to be a pretty big hole, but you know, it's a new day every day, and I'll get over it. But
No, but I kind of do understand that you always have those questions in your head, though. I mean, it's like, for example, just a basic example, like how were the pyramids of Egypt built? Nobody knows, but still, you think about it. But yeah, that's kind of like all that we have at this moment, don't we? I mean, we have like so much more documents to actually spit into, and
lots and lots of documents to sift through. But I'm really hoping, you know, I guess it's Saturday now, so Sunday, Monday, you know, maybe Monday, if I don't get calls back, you know, we'll start calling them again.
well, anyways, I do apologize for being late, but I had an emergency, so
Not a No problem.
Well, I guess that's kind of it for me though. It's almost 2 a.m. here.
I think we covered, kind of new stuff that's come through. So
That's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
I do thank our listeners. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely don't forget the hateful comments. Just saying that before I. I'm kidding. Until the next time, I guess, Heather.
All right.
I would say, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
I will talk to you later. Thank you again for today. I guess. What are we looking forward to tomorrow?
We're gonna cover the case